Well, we were talking about how the fact that more people comment probably about my hair. You made a comment, you just made a comment about my hair, and then I was like, yeah.
I know, because like I need to know how it's done, just in case like I ever cut my hair and I want to look like you.
And you want to. Yeah, like I said, this is how I know that nobody's really listening to me. They're just like, they're like, nice hair. And my answer is the same every day. So yeah, you want the tutorial? Here goes the tutorial, very quick.
Yes.
I call it the scrunch and go. Every day when I get out of the shower, it's wet, I put a little gel in my hand, I go like this, I grab it, and I squeeze. And then maybe sometimes a little on the sides, like that. A little push it forward. That's it, and then I'm done, and then I'll walk away. That's it.
Look what happens when I push it forward.
Yeah.
Thank you for that tutorial.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Are we gonna get this? Are we ready to go here?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm not gonna lie here. I'm a little. It's been taking me a little while for the wrap to start spinning in his wheel this morning.
That's okay. That's all right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Balls in Your Fresh Marketing. I am here with the fabulous, the wonderful Casie Lane Milhouse-Singh, founder of 2 Lane Social. And Casie is the very first Lucille Balls to come on our show. And in full disclosure to everybody, since then, we have done a little white labeling back and forth. In fact, I'm going to put a little plug out there because some people have recognized this. You and I combined do make for a very dynamic duo. We've never like officially made any like joint product or service, but when we have worked together, it is magic.
Yes.
So I know Roger Wilkerson's cluing into this and he's talking about some stuff, but we won't talk about that now. And yeah, people should reach out to both of us combined.
Yes.
And you know, but the reason why is this, and you and I've talked to you a little bit about this before, right? How like, you know, the thing is what the reason why I value so much what you do, and we'll talk a little more about this, right? Is that with the GIFs, you're the GIPHY Queen, a.k.a. the GIPHY Queen, everybody. And that was one of our one of my first episodes of BIYF Marketing was how to rank a GIF in under 24 hours. That video has now been seen thousands of times over on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. You've since met Gary Vee. That was barely a year ago, by the way.
I know.
Things have moved on, and now you're on to AR. And the point that I want to quickly make about this is the thing, right? When people talk to me about those technologies, I often advise, and I'll also throw in chatbots, which are also strong, right? That a lot of those times people think about those as sales tools. And I often encourage people to think of them more as customer retention vehicles, as way to engage your customers after a sale, how to sort of foster a relationship, and how to use, because of the sort of emotional impact that they have, the way, you know, it's a way of sort of emotionally, digitally connecting with your audience. So I love everything that you do. Now you're talking about AR these days a lot. So I'll finally shut up now.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Balls in Your Face Marketing.
Thank you. I am so excited to get more balls in my face.
It's always the Lucille Balls that come up with some little quip about the balls.
Look it, I even put balls on my walls.
Oh, this is fabulous. Fabulous. Thank you for the branding.
Yeah, I'm really excited. You know, we had only been we talked about our GIFs, we talked about chatbots. We are now going to be dipping into a little bit more with the augmented reality. So that's something that I've been actually doing since last June, and really found this actually to be very, very similar to what is happening with GIFs and stickers, because all of this stuff is, you know, already been happening in Instagram for a couple of years. It's already been there with Snapchat. People just didn't know what it was called.
Right.
I thought it's like this fun face filtery things, and they still call it that. But now we actually have this open source software that Facebook has totally dedicated to the augmented reality space. And there are thousands of creators out there. There are agencies popping up, like niche agencies like myself, that are starting to build out these experiences for clients and just for fun for ourselves, because it's so much fun. And I married the concept of this really cool technology matched with my marketing skills, pulled that together to find actual real value for businesses, like being able to get leads for a quarter of the cost, bringing sales in the door for a 50-year-old establishment that was trying to reach a new demographic. So those are the types of things that I'm really excited about with the AR. Yeah, it's fun to make all this crazy stuff, but to actually show businesses that, hey, you can actually make your money back in the very first day from doing one of these things.
Yeah.
So, you know, some people don't see anything from any return from doing a video that they spent $25,000 on making. So
I remember your first, like one of the early ones. I think the one, maybe this is the one back in June. You said you're doing in June of last year.
Yes.
Maybe it was the one that you did for that handstand day for the gymnastics one. And so you sent me the test, and I was like, okay, sure. And sure enough, their logo was perfectly on my face. Like, I mean, so there you go. Like immediately, like the branding was on it. It looked really cool. Like it looked like
it was like a handstand right on your nose.
It looked like sports team paint, which obviously is obviously like an easy like one. But I mean the potential I see. You're right. I think, and it's fun. It's so much fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And exactly, and there is the virality of that because people share that. So why don't you talk a little bit about maybe some of the campaign, those kind of campaigns, and explain deeper sort of how you're saying how, again, you've sort of married the technology with the marketing side.
Yes, absolutely. So when you are with Facebook, it's actually built on a separate platform that is integrated inside of Facebook. So the back end of it kind of looks like the Facebook ads platform. So when you're building it out, things kind of talk together. However, the AR experiences on Facebook, a lot of people still don't know that they can even use stories or use their Facebook camera in so many ways. So there has been lots of learnings in this journey. I'll give you an example. I wanted to test out to see if we could get more people using an effect if they went through a chatbot versus having an ad go straight into the effect. And what I found was I only did a $20 ad spend budget, and this was on a Thanksgiving Day in the US. And one of my partners, he developed this turkey head that went on your head. It was hilarious. And I just put in some ad budget into it, and the chatbot won hands down. Okay. The reason why is what I'm assuming. I don't have like the piece of Facebook isn't going to tell me why. But I'm assuming is because once you click on that experience in the feed, it takes a while to load. So even today I did a test from a partner, and the effect, once you clicked on the try it button, it took maybe about 25 seconds to load, which is insane. When you're going into a chatbot experience, you are able to tell people, hey, this is how it works. It's going to open up your camera. You may have to be patient, but it's going to be worth your while because it is a lot of fun, and you've already seen the video of people having fun. Mm-hmm. So when they go into that experience, you have them as a subscriber to your messenger, and you can keep on talking to them even after they play the effect. So those are like the benefits that I had in my head when I was thinking, why messenger? And then when I did the quick test with the ad budget, it definitely validated my assumptions. So with that test, I actually went out to other partners who were kind of like interested in what I was doing. And we had our first major client, which was an automotive industry. I can't say who it was, but we built out an AR experience that launched during an auto show. And from that, we did retargeting campaigns to target people that would be interested in buying the car, not just everybody who played with the effect. And the client got leads at a quarter of the cost that they normally do for an automotive dealership, which is pretty big. They actually loved it so much, they ordered another effect. Right. So that was our very first combining the marketing and the AR experience. From there, we worked with another client, and this one I can talk about. This client was called Taco Bill, which is a franchise of Mexican restaurants out in Australia, and they're about 50 years old. The partner agency came to us saying that their client really wants to reach out to a new demographic. And I shared with them, you know, my testings with the chatbots and how this would actually work in a larger scale. And we built out a game experience. So the tacos fall down, the burritos fall down, you try to chomp them all. If you eat 25, then you would get a coupon code on your screen, and also one that would go into the chatbot. What I loved about it is you could use share cards, and people were sharing that organically they only used, I think it was about $100 in ad spend, and the client made their money back within the weekend because people were booking reservations right on the spot through the Facebook Messenger. And the reason why I think it's like this is even more valuable than ever is that previously, people would have to download a brand new app to play with these experiences. Now we have everything that's fully built into Facebook, where your audience is. People say like, oh, people are not on Facebook. Almost everybody and their mother is on Facebook. Come on.
This is what I said. I did a post the other day about, I was like, I've had a lot of ruminations of people talking about how they're souring on Facebook friends who are just like, I'm off social media and large. And I totally get it from a personal side. Like, I totally get a pushback. I'm not like, it's not like I love social media. I don't. And I talk often and frequently about a lot of the sort of negativities and how people, I think, should be using it better. But you're right. You're absolutely right. It's the most populous platform. It is the most developed advertising platform, with perhaps exception of Google, but totally different animals. And I would argue even more developed. From a strictly advertising platform. Like, I get it. Hate social media all you like. Yeah. As an advertising platform. And by the way, good for you. The other thing, I was thinking when you're talking about that, I'm like, wow, good for you for breaking into the automotive industry with something innovative like that. Because I have found that they are in particular very reluctant for some reason. Like, they're the ones who are still on TV. Rare times, like when I'm watching a Raptors game, that's why I would still watch TV.
Go Raptors.
But, other than that, like, I'm never watching TV, but it's only car ads. And, and I'm like, and if you talk to them, I've had conversations with car companies, and they just like to stick with what they've done and what's tried and true. And they just haven't, it's like, wow, why don't you guys get that the market is still cheap? I don't like, and in a year from now, it'll still be comparatively cheap. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you know what? People say that they're not on social media, which could be 100% true, but chances are they're using their Facebook Messenger.
Right.
Because I would say, like, I'm on Messenger like nonstop, it seems these days. Like, I actually run my business off of Messenger. So when you think in that sense too, like when it comes to GIFs, when it comes to stickers, when it comes to AR experiences, people are still doing this, and they're not necessarily in the feed. they're doing things more in private. Yeah.
The other thing too is that there's a big difference between, you know, your feed where the person is completely, you know, will do what they want to do or go, you know, behave as they choose to behave from that point. But here's a thing that almost is universal with everybody, and this is that with the messenger, that little symbol, that little signal, there's a message in my box. Nobody wants to leave that empty.
Yes,
nobody likes that signal just sitting there going like there's something on it. Like people are so compelled to check it. People will check it.
Yes, agree.
And so yeah,
agree.
Yeah,
it's our like we've been trained. We've been trained to react in that, have that emotional response to it. So
right,
yeah.
And it's universal, right? Because it'll show up on your, just as let's say a text message from a friend or a loved one. Same thing. You're just like, well, I got to see what that's about.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That's why you got to turn it off. Turn off your phone or turn off everything when you want to go to bed, or 2 hours before you go to bed.
I have to say, I still to this day, unless this one that I've missed, I do like the other that cat. What was the one with it was that worked on cats. You did an AR one that worked on cat faces as well, and then it opened up their face with like a little machine.
Oh, so this was Mark. Mark was
you guys.
One of the developers I work with on projects,
mm-hmm.
and he did it on his Facebook or his Instagram account, and it was like the whole face came out, and it was like a machine. And one of his followers, that guy has had exponential growth, by the way. So he grew to over 300,000 in the past year. Because growth filter makers is insane. Anyway, so one of his followers tried it on her cat, and the cat's face opened up. It was insane. It was like the best thing I've ever seen.
No, I know. I've seen the video of it. It's hilarious.
And like,
that's awesome.
We talked to the product team. We're like, we need cat recognition technology. Cat recognition. And it's like once a week, somebody will suggest cat recognition.
Hold on. Make no mistake about it that Google's algorithm, and most algorithms, I think, are absolutely filtering cat memes. I think that's if there's anything that the intelligence figured out some time ago, was that, boy, do we love cat memes. And I think the thing is, and here's why. But this is relevant to what we're saying, right? This is why people love your GIFs. This is why people love this AR technology. Cats are expressive.
Mm-hmm.
They're very expressive animals, and so there's something very like comical in those videos. I'm not gonna lie, I like a good cat meme every now and then. I has cheeseburger will like, I mean, you know, how long has that been going on?
You can't have the internet if you don't have cats. Like the internet wouldn't be the internet without cat memes.
No, well, yeah. So I have no doubt that the algorithms are very aware that we love cats and are very tuned to identify them and say, yeah. I mean, I bet you like any money, like just put like, actually we should do like a split test in Facebook, and I'm sure Facebook will be like, yeah, this one will do better.
Yeah.
Right?
Cat memes, cat face filters are always really popular. Like
cat versus dog versus.
Chicks love doing them. Chicks love doing the cat ones.
There you go.
Gotta love it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what else is new? What else can we talk about, actually? Because here's the thing: is I know that you got so much on the go. We had a little off the record chat. So, what is there any of that we can talk about? Or no? That was all off the record.
It was all off the record.
That was all off the record. Okay, that is all.
What I can do is I can tell people a little bit about the experience that I'm having as a business owner that is tapping into this technology and who has been, you know, kind of at the forefront of building these solutions from the tools that Facebook is giving us. So for people that don't know, like I live about 20 minutes away from the Facebook office. I actually had a meeting with yeah, in Singapore. And I've had meetings with the product team. So they do the Spark AR, they do the Messenger, and they do the APIs. When I showed them the chatbot with the AR experience, they were blown out of the water. Like they were like, this is exactly the stuff that people need to be doing. And that's kind of like why I'm so generous in my sharing, because if we don't have results for the businesses, this sort of technology is not going to develop. And if I'm not sharing, then other agencies are not going to be able to develop this technology. Like there's no competition. There's so many businesses out there that could benefit from augmented reality, and doing ad funnels and doing the messenger and doing the GIFs and doing the stickers. However, I did notice, even like from like a partner sending me an email, like a cold email outreach email about an agency doing AR, and further looking into their business, like they haven't been around. They're not partners with Facebook. I looked up the guy on LinkedIn, and the guy like didn't look really legit or even knowledgeable about augmented reality. So I would, like, as a warning, I would really be kind of, as a business owner, I would take time to really research before going with a partner or working with somebody, because it looks like there are a lot of people that are jumping on this bandwagon without really understanding or even talking about it online.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, I definitely believe, one, that, you know, this AR is going to be absolutely like huge as a technology. It is so in its infancy. We're going to be using it in so many, like, I mean, my roughly speaking, I mean, I imagine that we will be at a point where we're always kind of walking around with glasses that allow us, for example, to you know, for example, navigate around the street or identify marks or do whatever, you know. I mean, it's actually going to probably start to get very invasive. For example, like what happens when you're starting to wear like glasses, and on top of that, it'll, like, let's say you're or like at a party, and it'll be like, okay, you tell your glasses, okay, anytime I hear my name gets heard, gets picked up, hone in on that audio and let me listen in. Right?
I like that idea.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, this is like, I don't know why I even think about these things, but I mean, like, but this is the thing, is like, we are going to be sort of integrating, I think, with, that is the sort of stepping stone of integrating with technology. Mm-hmm. AR. I mean, this is when you know, you hear guys like Elon Musk talk about, you know, how it sort of fusing with technology. That's, I think, the stepping stone. Is using it to enhance what we can perceive, what we can, you know, mm-hmm. all the things, all the spectrum that you can pick up. Totally sort of other area in development, right? Like that's like, for example, like an application right now, and I know some guys who are doing this, where it's like, you know, it's for like repairmen of military tanks.
Yes.
Right. And it's like you put on the glasses, and it's like, okay, this part is this part, that part is that part, and it's all identified for you. Whole other area. But I mean, it's all the same technology. And so yes, this is going to be huge. And who are the people developing it? From a commercial side, it's marketers. Mm-hmm. People like you. How can people get in touch with you, by the way? Let's make sure that I get that out.
Get in touch with me. Find me on LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Casie Lane Milhouse-Singh.
The best way.
and I always put links below and so forth. You know. But so yeah. So what are your thoughts though on the sort of future of where this is going? What do you think is coming next with AR? What are your sort of ambitions for it moving forward?
I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future. I can tell you what's going to be happening in the immediate future. But I'm no expert. I'm learning every single day about what we can do. I'm trying to like be wrong a lot of times when I'm testing out stuff as well. Because like to be honest, like I don't know jack shit when it compares to like, we have we have PhDs here in Singapore that are the top researchers in augmented reality on the planet. Like they're the top 10 on the planet. But what they don't know is how to get their technology to the people. Like they know how to build. And I like to think that I am at that juncture of like helping those people bring this technology that can help the people out there into the world. And so I just take it one day at a time. I do want to say is that our agency did get access to do filters on Instagram for a closed beta. Now, if you're watching and you have a brand on Instagram that has less than 100,000 followers and you do not have a sales rep for Facebook, and you have some pretty good engagement, this is my requirement. So Facebook's requirement is no sales rep under 100,000 followers. My requirement is you need to have really good engagement and people around the clock on your stories. Reach out to me and we will try to work on a project in a private beta for Facebook or for Instagram. And there's only 5 to 10 of us that have this access to do that on the planet.
That's amazing.
So I would love to work with anybody who has that really good engagement, less than 100,000 followers, and is willing to work in this beta program. But remember, when you're doing beta stuff, sometimes your technology won't work properly. For example, my Instagram, it gets stuck a lot of times because I have a creator account. So if you're willing to take the risk, if you are wanting to try something and work in partnership with Instagram and the Facebook team, and maybe even try to test out this new ads AR that is going into the direct messenger, and trying to work out some sort of automation with them, reach out to me, because this is a really cool project that I think that we can provide some really good value for your business and cool case study.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No,
so that's my CTA.
Yeah. Look, that's an incredible CTA, especially I think when you're talking about that access on Instagram. You're right. I remember seeing that post go out. And it's really interesting when you something that you mentioned earlier just kind of like triggered this thought. It's something that I've talked a bit about recently, just generally about, sort of us as marketers. I mean, this is what we do. When you're talking about, these developing team and they're developing, how much is that? I mean, there is just so much of that. And that, sort of your role, you're sort of seeing your role or your function as communicating that out to the world. I mean, that's what we do as marketers. We facilitate communication. Which is kind of the meaning behind what we do, as far as I'm concerned. And I think I really do consider it meaningful, because all forms of life seek to communicate. Like even like all animals, all like even like single cell
cells to cells, yeah.
Cell to cells, right? Exactly. Yeah. So this is sort of fundamental drive of life itself, and our role is to kind of facilitate that and can make help connect people. And yeah, I think the stuff that you're doing is amazing. And so now you remain the GIPHY Queen, quickly on your road to become the Queen of AR.
Oh, I do have another update.
Oh,
about the GIFs.
Okay.
Your girl is going to my next big adventure to understand and learn and teach other people is using Dongtu. So Dongtu means moving image in Mandarin, and it is also GIPHY's Chinese competitor that serves over 350 million GIFs a day. So I'm going to learn that and learn how it works with WeChat for all of my Western friends, so you guys can get in China. So that I connected with the founder maybe like 6 months ago, and now we're really, I'm really going to commit to learn how to use that.
This is, by the way, this is another reason why, you know, I've spoken a lot about, I'm going to go a little off tangent here, but, you know, again,
Sure.
you're just making me think about this. You know, I've talked a lot about the gig economy, right? And the advantages that the freelancer or the individual small businesses have today over large corporations. One of them in particular, though, is funny. It's like, when, you know, I say, I've used this example often. I say, you know, I'm not beholden to local talent. I work with contractors exclusively. So I have access to talent all around the world. And the example I'll say is, you know, it's great because I can talk to a client during the day, get an understanding of what needs to be done, speak to a partner in Singapore, for example. And usually in that, so when I'm talking about this story, I'm actually talking about you. And then, you know, then I go, and I talk to them at night. I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning. I send it off to the client. They think I pulled an all-nighter.
You're a genius.
Oh, it's genius. No, but
this guy never sleeps.
Right, right. No, but I mean, it's not. But I mean, this is the thing. That's the what? And you just actually like reminded me too of that other factor, which is this. I mean, you know, I've had other guests on the show talking about the Asian market, which is just exploding, and
I love it.
And how, you know, everything that exists in the West often that you know will often be recreated with a slight subtle Asian twist to it. So for example, you know if we have Alexa or the Google Talk, they'll put a face on it, right? And kind of humanize it a lot more. This humanization of technology, I think, again, is where, like, that's why I think you're so tapped into it, is because you're there in that market where they've been humanizing technology for much longer. So I love the fact that I have that connection. That's what I mean, where it's like, this is an example. This is why I wanted to take this moment and kind of talk about this. It's like, this is what this advantage of this gig economy is that I'm tapped into you. Like I said off the top of this, you and I have worked and white labeled together. It's such an incredible opportunity. So there's my I'm going to go back to my CTA off the top of this. So I was like, people should reach out to both of us, hire us in combo, do video, some chat bots, some whatever, you know.
Make some GIFs out of those videos.
Make some awesome pages, make some landing pages, do whatever. So tons of calls.
We'll just do something pretty cool.
We'll just do a bunch of cool stuff. A bunch of cool stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to work with whoever is watching this. Could be you. Yeah.
I'll say not necessarily everyone who's watching this.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Only you, because you're cool. Yeah. Not that other guy who was watching 20 minutes earlier than you.
Yeah, that guy was
that guy.
I'm so glad he left. Real nice. Real nice.
There goes all of your
There goes my whole audience. There goes all my subscribers right there. I wasn't talking about you. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No, it's
it was the non-subscriber.
It's all in fun. I could always edit that out, but I don't think I will.
Yeah, no edit balls in your face.
No, we're keeping it real. We're keeping it real. Casie, thanks so much. You know, it's always
welcome.
Blast. And I know as soon as as I say goodbye, I'm gonna stop recording. I'm gonna, oh wait, we should have talked about this. Well, you know.
No, we're good. We're good.
You know, we'll have.
I need to tell you another thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. I think I was. Oh,
But before we go, can I do like a mic drop? And
absolutely.
Can I talk about my rant again, real quick? Please see my rant.
Oh, okay. You might. Yeah, although that might get me off on my own. But go on.
Just start making cool stuff on LinkedIn. Yes, I love when people are sharing hacks and tips and like cool stuff I've never seen before. But stop like just saying what other people are saying. That would be awesome. Thank you.
Balls in your face right now.